I am broadcasting on all AM frequencies. I will be at the South Street Seaport every day at midday, when the sun is highest in the sky. If you are out there, if anyone is out there, I can provide food, I can provide shelter, I can provide security. If there's anybody out there, anybody, please, you are not alone.
Hey, what's up everybody? Radx here, the one from 72, the ultra neutral, and I am ultra neutral, and I'm going to live up to that right now in this video, because I notice that when I post videos on the tall whites, people are getting angry, and we know who those people are, and it's just a misconception because of their human, the blocks in their minds won't let them see past and see the truth of things. So I am going to build a quick case of why the tall rights are justified in doing everything that they're doing to you and everything that they are doing on this planet. And I'm going to build that case for them. Now, as far as the planet-wise, I don't want to get too deep in that because they do not lay claim to this. They cannot lay sole claim to this planet. It's just not possible. There are other higher intelligence that are here, and their intelligence that have been here long before they got here, that were not easily pushed around because they weren't already pre-genetically tampered with by the tall whites. So, and that would be the reptilians, the reptoids who live inside of the earth. So because they weren't manipulated and induced and all this and stuff, they don't have any claim over those beings that are here. And they're probably a very big problem for the reptilians and reptoids that are here. And that's the reason why you hear all this, these conspiracy theories coming out saying that the reptilians, reptoids are bad. We all know that it's predominantly Caucasian people who are saying this, and it's just that they're just being led down that path, instead of connecting with the beings that have been here long before, the tall whites came here and started manipulating the early hominid man. And obviously, like I said before, they have taken your species. They have wiped them out. They have induced them, brought them back, made them, leapfrogged them in evolution. And they've done this already 7 times. And not only am I saying this from the study and the stuff that I've gotten, especially from the Reptilian Woman, which is a real interview from a real reptilian woman that came out in 1999, but also now listening to Linda Morton Howe's last video, it actually lines up with that. So, and she is obviously working, for the tall whites, and not because, I don't think it's because that she's made a conscious decision to do it, because I'll show that later in a couple of videos later on here coming up soon. But they do have the right to do what they want with you, regardless of what you want to believe and what you feel or think. If they were to actually come out and say, look, this is the plan, this is what we've been doing with your species already 7 times, you would not be here right now doing the things that you're doing, flying airplanes, driving cars, building buildings, and doing all this stuff right now in this day and age, if we would have let you just progress and let you evolve naturally. They obviously could show you this. They could show you the full timeline and show you that you're not naturally, you have not naturally evolved. Like there hasn't been enough time for the human to naturally evolve to the state where they're at now. So when they would show you this and say, hey, look, we've done this, but every time that we've done it to get you to where you are right now, we've had to extinct another species that is where you are right now, right? But we have to, every time we do this, we watch the species, we see how you're growing stuff, because it's a laboratory for them. In fact, Leonard Morton Howe and many other alien researchers say the same thing, that this is a laboratory for someone. It's a laboratory for the tall whites. Obviously, the grays are doing things, and I can justify their reasons to do things that they do. First of all, they always knock you out, make sure you're asleep before they do stuff. That's the humane way to do it. You don't like it when you wake up and you find out that you've been abducted. You don't like it when you find out these things. But for the most part, if you never found out, you would never know that's happened to you. And it's happened. In fact, everybody who's listening to me right now, it's probably happened to you. You've probably, most likely, have been abducted, in the night many, many times. And the fact that you may be sitting here going, well, I know that's never happened to me. You don't know that. You simply don't know it. And it seems humane because when humans go out to the wild and they tranquilize a wild animal, knock the animal out, and if the animal never gets to see the human, right, and the human actually tranquilizes the animal from afar, and then all the animal knows is it got bit on its rear end, like a bee bit them, like an insect, or they had a twitch, and then actually they're out. Now let's say the humans come in, they take the animal, they examine the animal, check it for all these things, and do some things to it, and then before the animal comes back conscious, they go back to where the animal can't see them again. They wait, make sure the animal gets up, and the animal's okay, it's fine, and it walks off, and it just continues on its life like, what the hell just happened to me? The animal has no idea that it happened, and that's the humane way for humans to actually go and do experiments to make sure that these animals are, living in their environment correctly, and checking for the diseases and checking for things, and they're doing their studies, right? We all understand this because we've seen this on National Geographic. And nobody is horrified by it. Everybody's just kind of like, as humans, you just accept that that's an okay thing, because it's like they're not really, they're not trying to terrify the animal. They're trying to make be as less seen to the animal as possible. Well, that is happening to you. Ta-da! Exactly what the Greys are doing to you is exactly what you do to lesser beings who can't communicate with you. And don't think that because you're a human, and because you believe that you're, an advanced being, which you're not, that you can even communicate correctly or worth talking to. Beings who have been manipulating time, who have been moving in and out of time, like the tall whites, and who live to be 700-800 years old, there is nothing that you're going to say, first of all, that would entertain them for the most part. It's pretty much going to be you asking questions, wanting to know stuff. There's nothing you're going to tell them they don't already know. So it's all going to be you just asking them questions. And in the end, for what? They already know your timeline and what's going to happen to you anyhow. So it's worthless to them. And to understand that their mental capacity is far exceeds yours, with a 700 and 800 year lifespan, and being able to travel back and forth through time as if you're changing a channel on a television. The simplest way to explain this to you is when you flick the channel on your television, or if you just want to do a quick backup rewind on a movie with DVR or whatever, it's that simple for them to move through the timeline. Like, they lose nothing. When you're sitting on your couch and you're watching a movie on DVR or whatever, and you've already watched halfway through the movie, but you want to back up, maybe to the beginning of the film, maybe you want to back up, 20 minutes into it, and you just boom, back up. Well, how much time did you lose sitting there on the couch as that thing backed up a half hour? That half hour that backed up in the film literally was only a blink of a second for you. It literally is just boom, like you say, you get through the movie at almost the end of the movie, right? Well, it's the same thing. Let's say that you're watching, I know this may be hard for you to understand, and maybe it's not, but let's say you're watching a movie that is a 8-hour movie, right? Let's say you're watching the entire Star Wars trilogy, which is probably, 30 hours. So let's say you're sitting there and you don't have to sleep. Let's just forsake to say that you don't even have to sleep. But let's say you actually sit through almost the entire 30 hours of watching all of Star Wars, and you decide you want to back up to The Empire Strikes Back. And as you're watching through the whole thing, and you just click, boom, back to Empire Strikes Back, back to the scene with where Luke Skywalker opens up the animal when he climbs inside to warm himself up, right? You want to go back to check out that scene again, because now that you're seeing something towards the end of this 30 hours, it reminds you that, oh, wait a minute, something that's connected to that scene is connected to this, 24 hours later. So you want to just get back to there. Well, it's that easy. You just boom, rewind, and boom, and there you are. So you can actually watch that scene play out. And that's how simple and easy it is for them to travel through time. Now, the 20-something hours that you just sat through, this whole time watching this, literally, for you to go back does not take you to sit there through the whole 20-something hours. You literally just, boom, you're there. And that's how simple it is for these beings to travel back and forth through time, through technology. They're able to do this. Maybe some, beings are able to do it with the thought of their minds. So when you, as a human right now in the present, listens to someone who makes the case saying that they have the right to do what they want with you or whatever, and treat you the way that they want to treat you, it's because all the way back at the beginning of the film, they actually created the movie, right? Like let's say they actually helped create the movie, and I don't mean like they're gods, but they helped create the characters in the film, right? So for them to go back and scratch something or to do whatever, that's nothing. It's nothing for them. And so when you in the present, it's everything for you. For you, it's everything. It means everything. But for them, it's not. In 700 years to 800 years, it also proves that their detachment from your short lifespan. And this is a point where I'm going to actually make the case for you as a human that they're not the good guys for you. The fact that they've manipulated and changed, and I'm not going to go through a whole bunch of demonization on this with them. I'm just going to point out this one small thing because I missed it before. The fact that you have a short lifespan is because they want it to be short. You cannot have a long lifespan, and I'm going to make a whole video about this later. And we'll touch on that, about your lifespan versus all these other beings' lifespans. The reptilians live a long time. The tall whites live a long time. The draconians live almost damn near forever. And the grays, from many, many reports, have conquered death. And that is obviously part of the problem that they have too with this disconnect. So they are disconnected from you. But yet they have helped you get to this point. Now, if they were to lay all this out on a table and show you that, look, we've been here for a long time and we've manipulated timelines to show you that we've been here and stuff. For them to do that, they show you Zeus and say, hey, look, he was, this most of the time wasn't predicted as just an old man with white hair, but a young man who's very strong with white hair as well with Zeus. There was never any other color of hair that Zeus had, that he didn't just grow old and get gray hair or white hair. He's always had the white hair. So for them to lay everything out for you, and to completely lay this out for you to the entire world, and they were to tell you that, hey, your species is at this point where it's done anyhow, and they say, we're going to show you your inevitability. We're going to show you where you're going to be in the next 10 years if we don't do the wipe now. And they show that a nuclear all-out fallout war is inevitable, so your species is going to get wiped out anyhow. So if they say, but what we're going to do, and let's just say for sake that they say, we're going to give you guys a option. We're going to give you an option just for fun's sake. And they said, we're going to give you an option. The option is that we can soft kill everyone on the planet like we've done already 6 times before. Maybe some of them weren't so soft, but We're going to soft kill everyone on the planet like we've done before. And we're going to bring back your species as a stronger, better species. We're going to critique some things, maneuver some things around, and make your species a better species. Of course, obviously, every time you're still going to be slaves to them no matter what, because they are your hierarchy with, doing all the things that they've done for you. So let's say that they say that, this is the only way we can move you forward. This is how you've gotten to this point, and we have to wipe everybody out to get back to this point again. Or we could not do that, and your species, this is it. This is the final draft, like we would say in the film industry. Whenever I wrote a script and I have to take the script and send it to an editor, the editor would charge me so much money for him to, go through the script, do rewrites, and then he would send it back to me, and then this would go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, till I get a final result where I feel like this is comfortable, this will be acceptable for the viewers, and also make me happy because I'm still telling as close to the story that I want to tell. Because you don't know that most stories that a writer writes doesn't end up being exactly that's the first draft is almost never what you see on screen. It's almost never what you see on screen. That's why people say about how the book versus the movie. Okay, they don't just follow along with the book. Well, that was what the person envisioned was in the book, not what was in the movie. It was the book. Okay, so, and then there's the draft and draft and draft. Well, that's the same thing that happened to the human species. So let's say they say we're going to give you an option that this is going to be it. That you guys can just play this out for the next 10 years until all out nuclear war and all out fallout happens, and gamble with, oh, we may change. But they're just going to say, we've been back and forth through your timeline. We just showed you all this stuff. We know exactly what's going to happen. And even though now you know all the truth, here is the still ending, the ending of your species in the next 10 years, and you're still going to cause that, regardless of this enlightenment moment, because there's still these divisions, there's still these things that are happening. And you're going to beg us for this and beg us for that, but we can't give you these things because of X, Y, and Z. First of all, you would have to give the technology to everyone all around the world, because if you don't, then only a certain group gets the technology and the rest don't, and then you're obviously going to start war with that. Because it's like, oh, well, these are the ones of hierarchies. Well, then you've got all these other ideas and all these other religions and all these separations that it's just not possible. You're not working together enough, and no matter of enlightenment is ever going to do it. No matter how many people on YouTube and stuff wearing beads in their hair and burning incense and telling you that they're communicating with the stars and they're communicating people with these alien beings through remote viewing, and saying that, oh, they just want to love us and they just want us all to love. It doesn't matter how many people come out and say that. That's not going to change this world. And most of those people are just doing it for self-gratification, because, first of all, they only talk about things that resonate with them. They don't want to talk. You're saying that you're not talking to beings who are telling you that, look, you're really insignificant. And I don't buy that. I'm sorry. So, in fact, whatever. I'm going to move past that. But if they lay all this out in front of you and they say, we're going to give you a choice. And the choice is that you can either go with this soft kill and be wiped so we can bring back your species, your people, as an 8th species to advance and move forward, or the other. In 10 years, you just wipe each other out. I'm going to say the odds, and I'm always going to go with comfortable odds that I like, numbers that I like comfortably, are 88% of the people on the planet would say, no, we want to be in control of our own destiny. And on that, and 10 years later, it's inevitable. That's the end of your civilization. Because if you have them lay it out to the whole world, maybe 22%, 2022, and then 88, 22% of the people would be like, no, let's go ahead and make the great sacrifice for our species to keep moving forward. Obviously, these people have gotten us to this point, put us where we're at. Let's just trust the plan. Oh, trust the plan. That's the plan. So, and to just go ahead and go with the wipe and let them do what they got to do and make the ultimate sacrifice. So I'm saying that not the entire world is all going to be on board with either or. Okay, but I'm saying that the overwhelming majority of people are very selfish. the overwhelming majority of people do not have the mental capacity to understand how their species have gotten to this point and how it's going to go forward. This builds the case for every single decision that the tall whites have done on this planet to the humans. This makes them out to be the good guys, right? But to be the good guys, they have to get rid of you to bring your species back as a better species, or a more fine-tuned species, maybe the final draft of the script. But you won't accept that, and I guarantee you're not accepting it right now. And there you go. I've built the case for them, and I am neutral to their cause, and I understand what they're doing, but I'm not saying I agree with it. And whether you do or don't, that's on you. And with that, enjoy the rest of the time that you have left. Welcome. You can call me Radix, the ultra neutral, the one from 72. Doing more and more research and more digging, it now is more apparent to me that we are in a natural reality dealing with an alien species that has hacked time. And because of that, they have left a huge piece of evidence, which is the year 1972, and how that year actually connects to the year 2020, and how I am the only person in the world that is educating people and bringing the message and was able to predict the election in 2020 through great detail, as well as other predictions that also came true that have to do with looking at the year 1972 and the time hack and how it affected the year 2020 and will lead us into civil war, as well as a galactic war that is clearly upon all of us that is coming down. And you'll see that evidence by coming here and looking at the evidence that I present. I'm also going to be teaching you things about how flying saucers work, things about different alien species like the reptilians, the Anunnaki, and about the Greys, because I myself had a reptilian experience where my mind was unlocked, and that is one of the great reasons why I'm able to present all of this knowledge, because up until the year 2017, when my mind was unlocked, not long after that, I was starting to able to see the holes in the reality, see all the connections of the things that were going on that led to a time hack, which tells us learn from them and push forward as humanity, and not to suppress one another and suppress our own species. So if you're ready to have your mind unlocked, if you're ready to receive the message that nobody else in the world is talking about, if you're ready to see the truth, if you're ready to understand and look at the evidence, then welcome to Rat X Files.